back to another episode of Cleared by the Kriegers, your guide to global freight. In today's episode, we are diving deep into the world of trade finance. I'm your host, Kimberly Kilgore with Krieger Worldwide, and today we have a special guest who's making waves in the factoring and purchase order funding field, Gary Vantsyan. Gary is a senior vice president at Express Trade Capital, a financial services company transforming trade finance for importers. Gary is a forward-thinking leader in the factoring and purchase order financing sector, and we are so excited he is joining us. He has been with Express Trade Capital for nearly 20 years. He was born in Georgia and brings a multilingual ability, really impacting his ability to connect with different partners. He's fluent in Armenian, Georgian, and English. He has an educational background that includes a BS in marketing and air transportation from the University of Civil Aviation and advanced studies in finance and financial management at Queens College. So when we say we have an expert with us, we mean it, and we're so excited he's here. His tenure at Express Trade Capital exemplifies not only deep industry knowledge, but an unwavering commitment to innovation and excellence in the financing space. So grab your headphones, get comfortable, and let's get started with this exciting conversation with Gary. Gary, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So I just wanted to ask to start for our listeners, how exactly did Express Trade Capital get started?
Sure. We began in 1993 by helping businesses manage their supply chains and optimize cash flow through services like factoring, purchase order financing, and letters of credit. Today, we provide businesses with trade finance solutions and back office support. Over time, we expanded our offerings to include additional financial services like accounts receivable, collections, credit protection, and inventory financing. Over the past 31 years, we built a reputation working closely with wholesalers and producers of consumer goods, including apparel, electronics, food and beverage, to help them grow and expand in the US market. We help businesses increase efficiency, improve liquidity, and reduce financial hurdles, allowing them to focus on their core business activities and achieve sustainable growth.
Exactly. That's something that we have found through our partnership with Express Trade Capital as well. We've assisted some of their clients and we've seen just the streamlined communication, the ability to really help importers thrive from a financial standpoint. Really quickly, just for our listeners who are not familiar with your services, can you briefly introduce some of the actual services you provide that you would say are your bread and butter and your niche?
Of course, we stand out in factoring industry by offering a unique set of services. We provide a full range of financial services, including pure funding and letters of credit. We offer flexible, tailored financial solutions to meet the specific needs of each business. Funding is provided without taking any ownership, allowing businesses to retain control and save their equity. We emphasize educating clients on guiding them through financial and back office management. We have decades of experience under our belt across a wide spectrum of industries like apparel, home goods, electronics, food and beverage, and general consumer goods sectors. Our established retail relationships nourish streamlined payment processes, and our integrated approach sets us apart by combining finance and back office support to promote the business growth.
And I think for us, here at Krieger Worldwide, we really emphasize when our clients are educated, when they know more about their supply chain, overall, they will thrive, right? The more they know, the better their supply chain performs, the better we can support them. So I think that's something that our listeners will really resonate with Express Trade Capital, that you emphasize educating your clients, guiding them through that financial and back office management. That's so important and not something that every financial services company will take the time to do. So I would say that could be sort of your market differentiator. Would you agree?
Absolutely.
And will you just briefly explain exactly what the concept of factoring for listeners that are unfamiliar with the term? I know it was new to me when I joined logistics, and we do have quite a few new importers who may not be familiar with that term.
Sure. Invoice factoring is a financial service where a business sells its unpaid invoices to a third party, known as a factoring company. In return, the business gets immediate cash. The factoring company then takes responsibility for collecting the payments from the customers when the invoices are due. Essentially, it allows businesses to access funds tied up in unpaid invoices without waiting for their clients to pay.
Wow, so definitely something that new businesses, new importers could use to advance that cash flow and funnel it back into their supply chain or into marketing or other places that their businesses need to use that revenue then.
Absolutely.
And what are some of the biggest challenges new importers and exporters face when it comes to factoring or financial services?
There are plenty. Uh, Navigating regulations can be quite tricky, especially when you're trying to wrap your head around all the complexities of international trade laws, tariffs, customs regulations.
Right.
When it comes to managing cash flow, things can get a little tight. So, financing goods before you even receive payment from buyers can really put a strain on the cash flow, particularly for smaller businesses that might not have as much flexibility. And then there is the risk management. For those who are just getting started in a trade, having a solid strategy in place to deal with things like shipping delays, damaged goods, or even geopolitical issues is absolutely essential. Plus, managing documentation is crucial. Without proper paperwork in place, you could face unnecessary delays and end up with extra cost, which no one wants.
Of course not. And it's so interesting. You mentioned the geopolitical issues or potential delays. And boy, we've seen a lot of those in the last 30 days, from the Red Sea issues that we've been seeing for months to hurricane disruptions to now, the strike, which thankfully was short, but definitely did cause some disruptions. You're right. There's just unavoidable interruptions and disruptions that can impact your bottom line. So that cash flow, having access to it quicker is crucial because it can put quite a severe strain, especially if the strike were to have gone on for weeks or if a port is significantly damaged, if your ceilings get rolled, so on and so forth. Definitely
Absolutely.
unexpected costs can add up.
Absolutely.
And how does Express Trade Capital's factoring services specifically address all of the challenges you have listed? I understand, it can increase the cash flow, but can you break that down for us a little further?
Great question. When it comes to improving cash flow, we can help by advancing funds against your accounts receivable as we provide businesses with immediate cash flow. This means you can manage your expenses and keep operations running smoothly, even while you're waiting for your customers to pay. It's especially helpful for companies that need some liquidity to cover those upfront costs or to bridge any cash flow gaps they might be experiencing. On top of that, we simplify accounts receivable management by taking care of the collections process for you. This reduces the administrative load on your team, and we make sure that payments from your customers come in on time. That way, you can focus less on chasing payments and more on what really matters, growing your business.
I mean, that's music to my ears. I feel like even with our technology platform, K-Trace Technology, one of the constant feedback points that we receive is the time value, right? Our clients save time because they don't have to go through email. They can message us through the portal. Gosh, could you imagine not having to spend the time to chase down invoices because someone else is doing it for you? I mean, time is money, right? So you're right. I mean, that would be such a benefit in itself where that person that would have spent that time tracking it down, they get to spend that on growing their business, like you said. And does Express Trade Capital offer any resources or educational materials specifically for new businesses? I know you guys pride yourselves on the educational opportunities you offer and the continuing education you provide to your existing clients. But for new importers or startup businesses, is there something tailored towards them?
Yes, we do. We provide a range of helpful resources for new businesses, including guides and articles that cover everything from trade finance to managing cash flow and understanding international trade regulations. From time to time, we host webinars on important topics like trade finance, giving you the chance to learn and ask questions in real time. One on one consultations for personalized advice tailored to your specific needs. Client onboarding support to make sure new clients get the most out of our services right from the start. And educational materials that break down financial concepts and highlight industry trends in easy to understand way.
That is so important. I love the webinars. I feel like that is such a great opportunity, especially when it's a broad topic that so many people can benefit from. That open forum, you may find that someone else attending asks a question you didn't even think of, right? And sort of it's that light bulb moment where suddenly you start to think and learn from other listeners, other attendees. So that's so great. I love that you guys offer that.
Absolutely.
And will you just walk listeners through a typical factoring scenario with Express Trade Capital? What would it look like start to finish?
Okay. A typical scenario includes the following steps. The business fills out our application forms with information about the business and customers. We then review the application and customer credit worthiness. The next stage is approval. The business assigns invoices to us and we discuss terms. We then advance up to 80% of the invoice value to you. Since we have established relationships with your customers, we have better reach to collect payments on your behalf. So we manage collections and provide credit protection. Upon collecting customer payments, we deduct fees and return the remaining balance to the business as the final payment. Last but not least, we offer ongoing support to manage receivables and improve cash flow.
And how long does all of that take to sign up and onboard and get started with you?
Depends. Typically, from applications to onboarding takes about 1 to 3 weeks. The exact time frame can vary depending on intricacy of the application and completeness of the documentation provided.
Sure, of course. And about how long would you say, let's say a client onboards with you, everything's going well. How long would it take for them to get those advances to see that real benefit of working with your team?
Once onboarded, clients send us a copy of their customer invoices along with proof of delivery. We typically process invoices within 24 hours and issue the advance via wire.
Okay. So pretty quickly.
24 hours, not too bad.
Not so bad.
Not at all.
And could you break down how your fees are typically structured just to give our listeners a little more insight in what it would look like?
Sure. Generally, 1 to 3% of the invoices, depending on how long the invoice is outstanding, how much the client chooses to advance, and other details about the client's business. Other factors include credit worthiness of the customers, the volume of invoices, and the length of the factoring arrangement.
Okay. Well, I think that gives a really good overview of the process, the setup with you, and definitely highlight some of the key benefits to working with Express Trade Capital. One thing I really love to do with our listeners and even with our clients is to share stories of success, of how it worked well, just to kind of give a fuller picture of what it could look like. Do you have a success story you could share with our listeners?
With pleasure. You want one? I'll give you two.
All right.
One of our food and beverage clients, who is a family owned Moroccan wholesaler, partnered with us in early in their growth. As major retailers took notice, the client required more than standard factoring. We provided an inventory line and accounts receivable financing. to fuel expansion. Over 8 years, the partnership propelled the company from 600K in sales to, you ready?
I'm ready.
57 million by 2023.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yep. Using our services and solutions, the client easily introduced new product lines and expanded their customer base, overcoming cash flow challenges and achieving sustained success in the market.
Wow, that's incredible. 57 million. That is awesome. And all thanks to your partnership because they would not have been able to fulfill those orders otherwise, correct?
Yep, absolutely right.
Okay, you said you would give me two.
Another client of ours came to ETC after landing a big private label deal with a top grocery chain. But there was a catch. They were small and couldn't attract the high value investors they needed, looking for a non equity partnership. ETC jumped in with flexible PO funding and dual factoring, covering production and packaging. Soon enough, their first sparkling beverage hit the shelves and it was a hit. With Express Trade's full service financing, their business exploded from 500K to 30 million in 2024.
That's amazing. What incredible growth in such a short amount of time, but also just thanks to a non equity partnership that they couldn't find elsewhere. I think that's so important for our clients and for new importers to know that there are other options. You don't have to give away equity. You can get creative with your finances to find solutions that fit your needs.
Absolutely right.
And so with these types of situations, do you find that this is a common scenario at Express Trade Capital where customers are growing, they can't keep up with the growth with the cash they have, so they partner with you to help them fulfill orders or get into those big box stores? Is that sort of where you find most of your customers coming to Express Trade?
Yes, absolutely. When they would like to, again, improve their cash flow, they want to use their money to expand their business and, not to think about the back office, not to think about their cash flow, not to think about their PO funding and the factoring and collecting invoices and the chargebacks and all that.
Right. I mean, it sounds like a dream. I love it.
Thank you.
And for our listeners, if you want to explore some more success stories or learn more about how Express Trade Capital has helped other businesses thrive, definitely visit them at their website, expresstradecapital.com/success stories. You can go ahead and scan this QR code. You can follow them on social media for the latest in trade finance and client testimonials. And we will, of course, also share a link in our podcast notes or below in our YouTube comments. And before I let you go, can you summarize some of the key takeaways for our listeners that are interested in factoring services, what they should leave this episode knowing and be ready to do?
Of course. Factoring provides immediate cash flow by advancing funds against outstanding invoices, helps businesses manage cash flow, handle growth, and streamline operations without giving up equity. Very important. Tailored financial solutions and flexible terms designed to meet the unique needs of each business.
And how should our listeners get in touch with Express Trade Capital to learn more?
We are extending a unique opportunity to enhance your cash flow and grow your business. We are excited to offer an exclusive 350 discount on a sign up fee valid for 30 days. To claim, simply email me directly, Gary@expresstradecapital.com, or visit expresstradecapital slash contact and submit the form using the code 30ETC. I'll be happy to reach out personally and provide a consultation.
I love that. Who doesn't want to save $350? So that is amazing. Thank you guys so much for offering that to our listeners.
Absolutely.
For everyone listening, I'm going to also include a link to that form. Again, is 30ETC. Just check out our comments to see that code and directions to apply for that credit and to reach out to Gary directly. Thank you so much, Gary,
Thank
for
you.
your time. Thank you for educating me and our listeners more about the factoring process and more about how Express Trade Capital can really assist in their cash flow, in helping their businesses grow and thrive. We partner with Express Trade Capital to help their clients keep their goods moving. So please reach out to Gary, reach out to our team. We're happy to collaborate as a team to assist your business in growing. We've got some more exciting episodes in the works. We're digging deep into duty drawback next week. So thank you all so much for tuning in, for listening. Again, thank you for joining us today, Gary, and sharing
Thank
insights
you.
on your financial solutions.
Of course. Thank you, Kimberly. Thank you for having me.
Everyone, have a good one.
Bye bye.